Alrighty, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy White Album here, and welcome back to some more Witch on the Holy Night. Last time we left off, we had almost at the Pope. We had a puppet robot lady confronting both Sojiro and Alko after Alko tried to kill Sojiro. So here we go. Got my water ready. Let's keep going. Let's see what will happen. All right. Let me take a quick sip before I start. All right, here we go. Break time was over. There stood Aoko Alzaki and Sojiro Sizuki. The first idle conversation they had since first meeting had come to an end. Not that they had any choice in the matter. It was the jarring murmuring from around the corner that cut it short. I think I've already read this, but I'll read it once more. Nobody remembers my funeral. My mourners have long since perished. We were born wrong. Life is suffering. Somebody save me. The enemy was just around the corner, visible in the mirror. I'm probably just going to skip this. There we go. I think this is where we actually left off. Alright. What she should do next was blindingly clear. She had to get back to normal. Alzaki. Sorry. I was thinking. Maybe that could... Okay. Suzuki, I've got it. You see that side passage over there? Huh? Aoko pointed, but he could see nothing but the walls of the corridor. For one thing, the floor had nothing but left turns, and Aoko was pointing to the right. At the center of the second floor is a stairway down to the first floor, which I destroyed earlier, so you couldn't use it. But there's another path that leads to the right. Like this place is taunting you by design. It's a secret shortcut that only the hardcore fans know about. Hardcore fans? Okay. If you search carefully, you can find a way to the stairs down to the first floor. Now do as I say, and go on without me. Aoko turned her back to Sojiro and started walking. Walking in the opposite direction of the escape route and down the long corridor toward the puppet in pursuit. Oh. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. That thing will kill anything it sees, so I have to destroy it here and now. It's okay for two mages to fight each other, but dragging normal people into conflict is strictly forbidden. I'm the target, so this is the best outcome for anyone, or everyone. Don't you think? Now, would you leave? I'm trying to... What was it from Bioshock 1? It's like, could you please leave now, would you kindly? And then fucking Sojiro's like, huh? And then he just doesn't. If Aoko won, the puppet would be destroyed. If Aoko lost, its objective would be complete, and it would shut down. Either way, them going their separate ways would mean Sojiro survived. This is what Aoko meant. Though she explained it as if the events were happening to two totally different people. If you're lucky enough, you'll make it back to the gate in one piece. So, see you tomorrow then? You're a little awfully confident there. Alright. Even Sojiro could tell she was just trying to act tough. But she had already disappeared around the corner by the time he thought to stop her. He's like, well, not my problem anymore. I'll be like, yeah, sure, go ahead, fucking get yourself killed, not my problem, man.
さて。
Well then. Mentally, Aoko bemoaned the disaster she was in. The quality of this puppet was on a completely different level compared to the one from the park 2 days ago. An auto-incanting perpetual motion machine was a rarity in of itself. But this puppet was also equipped for battle with its extending arms and gander projecting crystalline eyes. It was a first-class product that, if put on the market, would sell for hundreds of millions of yen. Although, that was only one factoring in its value as an antique. For the purposes of combat, it would have made more sense to mobilize a significantly less expensive familiar. So such a precious commodity as a tool for murder marked this puppet's master as a completely different breed of crazy from the enemy she had faced up until now. She's like, or her what I'm trying to say is like her enemy is like, I just want her dead, okay? I want her dead and that's it, no matter what happens.
Oh. Verbo insum solitare putoris quiniferis. Ictius mers obitus dies, et mers natibus dies. Theoberum.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
来たわね.
Here it comes. Why does it look all flat like that? I guess it's the shadow? Alright. A sound of a crackling music box filled the air. Wait, so you're telling me that puppet just has a built-in music box? That's gangster. And yet, like, that's a good way to frighten your opponent, bro. The automata, animated by its own curses, approached. The corridor measured approximately 30 feet in length. Aoko lay in wait around a corner further down the hall, anticipating the puppet's appearance. This was not to buy Sojiro's time to escape. Far from it. Aoko had concluded that she couldn't make a break for it under the current circumstances. Damn, I'm fucking up already. Even if she tried to escape, and, by some miracle made it out of the House of Mirrors, that was as far as she could go, or would go. Outside, with no cover, Aoko would be quickly overtaken and skewered from behind. As long as her magecraft was disabled, escape was impossible. Instead, she chose to force the enemy back. Her situation was not the most favorable, but neither was the puppet's. I don't know, I think the puppet had an upper hand on you earlier. Though this narrow hall gave Aoko no place to run, it in turn prevented the puppet from reaching full speed. That was the weak point of this machine. Automata of this era had a tendency to struggle with minute changes in speed. Okay.
Set.
Automata. Set. Connecting. She flowed energy into her shortened circuits. Her blood flow and magical energy supplied were unstable. It would be difficult to construct a formula in this state. All she could do was harden her right arm by imbuing it with as much energy as she could. Doing so turned her arm into an improvised weapon like a hammer or bat. Assuming she could manage to get in close combat range, this was the best she could do. All she needed now was a plan of attack. The question wasn't what weapon to use, but how to use the weapon she had. The simplest way would be to use the mirror's reflections to hide and then rush the puppet from its blind spot, except for one major problem. It did not have a sense of sight in the first place. Wait, what? I'm sorry, but last time I saw that thing, it did have eyeballs, so... Okay, sure, whatever you say, game. I'll follow along. Alright, the puppet's view of the world around it did not stem from visual feedback, but from the mapping of the topography of its surroundings. Okay. In theory, it was the same as the bat's echolocation. The environment could be measured based on the emission and return of high-frequency sound waves. Those chants served as sensor pulses. As far as the puppet was concerned, the mirrors were no better than transparent panes, making even the thought of an ambush laughable.
近づけば近づくほど、よりリアルに察知される。本当は遠距離からの狙撃が最適なんだけど、ガンドを撃ってくるなら、
フィンの一撃ぐらい隠してるわよね。
The closer it gets, the more it's able to sense me. I'd rather fight at a distance, but if it's shooting Gander, it's probably got at least a fin shot up its sleeve, too. Well, I mean, it doesn't help that your arm is fucking, like, pulsating right now, so... I mean, like, right? Gander was Scandinavian in origin, and considering its simplicity, highly versatile. It was most effective at impairing a target's health by pointing a finger. As a single action magecraft, it was limited to only causing illness. But there was a secret technique said to be the greatest mastery of the Gander shot. The fin shot. Okay, so if that's Scandinavian, does that mean that black magic, like voodoo magic, like, could actually exist here? Because that's technically a form of magic, right? So that would be interesting. That'd be cool, right? I highly doubt they would ever explain... I mean, that'd be cool if they explained that. Like, black magic is a thing. Like, I'm talking about, like, voodoo, like, Louisiana, New Orleans type of black magic, you know? Where it's like, if somebody grabs a single strand of your hair, you're pretty much fucked and they can turn you into a voodoo doll. Like, I wonder if that exists in this, like, in this game's world. I'm pretty sure it does. I would assume it does, at least. Considering that, you know, this Gander is from Scandinavia. Alright. It could do more than cause simple illness. It was a deadly curse that could stop the heart. The wound on her back set her nerves on fire. An unarmed girl and a deadly automaton. It was clear that she was the one destined for death. She considered her slim chances of survival when... Ooh, the fuck? A vision sent chills down her spine. Quietly, using everything she could clamp down on the feeling, Aoko faced an all too familiar illusion. She clenched her teeth to keep them from making a deafening chatter. But there, the sensations of fingers crawling up her neck. Behind her, the specter stared and laughed. This alone made Aoko want to bolt. On top of it all, when Aoko tried to mentally simulate the coming fight, she estimated a 2 in 10 chance of dying in the first 5 seconds. 20%. At times, her predictions were harsher than reality. If Aoko fought the puppet 10 times, she would die twice. She could not stop herself from visualizing her own corpse. I mean, that's better than nothing, right? That's still 8 times, right? So is this specter like her, like, inner self? You know, it's just like, once you actually reach this is your true self or something like that? She imagined herself collapsing, crumpling under the puppet's curse. Her eyeballs swelling like a blowfish, blood and other fluids oozing from every bodily orifice. Ugh, that's gross. 1 in 5, 1 in 5, 1 in 5. A 1 in 10 chance of death was bad enough, but 1 in 5? It drove her crazy. Or is that like the specter of death, I guess? It's got a red cape, that's pretty sick. But Aoko forced her heart as it tried to escape from her mouth. Forced down her heart. Taking in a deep breath, she peered at her own reflection. She thought back to that white night half a year ago. This, she decided, was nothing compared to that. 6 months ago, at the Kuoji estate, the Hound of White Roses, the Wandersnatch, that appeared from within the thick fog, had killed Aoko 100 times out of 10.
Mea anima immortalis, autem mea futura negata sunt. Manes sum, animam definira ambiguum est.
Just hear me out. A dark curse shattered Aoko's daydream. It was only 30 feet away. The puppet rounded the corner. Either stood in the shadows, their forms indistinct. The puppet gave no warning. Without preamble, oh, sorry, wrong word. It swiftly fired a Gander barrage. Just as Aoko planned, their curses fizzled out as they hit her mist-like barrier of magical energy. The protection will only last a few seconds, giving her just enough time to... Come on. A stretchable spear sprang toward Aoko's face.
Bingo!
Bingo. What was his name? The lethal weapon grazed her cheek. All of her experience analyzing puppet attack patterns gave her the what? The wherewithal? That's a word. To evade the attack by a hair's breadth. Breath? What? It's like bread, but with TH at the end. It was one thing if a puppeteer were pulling the strings, but autonomous dolls had their own limitations. Aoko had bet everything on this killing machine following a predefined template. The puppet would use a given attack for a given range, and she could adjust her tactics to that. Now's my chance. Before its arm had a chance to fully retract, she charged the puppet. It was a risky gamble, but her overall chances were slim to begin with. The scales tipped in her favor. If her predictions were correct, there was only two ways she would die. One from a fin shot fired at that range. Or one was. Okay. We'll say that's going to happen. Oh. Wait, either she sped up to the puppet or the puppet's like, nah, I got you. And the other if the puppet's attack pattern were beyond her foresee. Instantaneous mass transfer. Otherwise known as mass displacement. Immediately after Aoko dodged the puppet's arm, something smashed into her abdomen. The head-on collision from its shoulder felt like a rocket. But where had the ability to propel itself come from? Puppets like this were not built to have the ability to jet around like that. Doing everything in her power to stay conscious in spite of the pain, Aoko can just make out what had happened. It wasn't propelled. It was pulled. Yes, the puppet's arm had not returned to its body. It was lodged in the wall and reeled itself from the other direction. Yeah, that would make sense. It can do that? Swallowing her surprise, she hastily pulled herself back up. Her abdomen, specifically her diaphragm, oh god damn, you see the fucking huge paragraph that just popped up on me? Had been dealt a significant blow. The attack left her disoriented. Thankfully, the puppet was surprisingly lightweight. Her bones and organs were intact, and she had sustained no life-threatening damage. She was having a hard time breathing, however. She was shaken, though she managed to keep her calm. In another 2 seconds, she'd be back on her feet. No, that was 2 seconds too long. That's a cool visual. She told herself to calm down, that she was already calm. She'd only briefly lost her bearings. She was fine. She could recover her breath and her vision later if only her body would move.
Intellectus non necessarius est, piusque escat. Nostra sentiabulat fit. Ratio fix tantum est.
Oh, she got ratio.
Dolores nicum cerebrum fit.
Oh shit. Okay, let's see what happens. Above her, Aoko could hear the warped noise of a powerful force. Come on, legs. Move. We gotta get to where? She could once more feel the touch of death.
Bis salvatio, bis salvatio, bis salvatio.
Grant us salvation. Grant us salvation. Grant us salvation. The puppet was so close that Aoko could reach out and touch it. That also meant that it could reach out and kill Aoko. I need to get my right arm into its blind spot. By intuition alone, Aoko rolled over to the puppet's right flank. Its arm was still embedded within the wall. From here it could not attack. She made the right decision, and her dizziness faded.
Intellectus non necessarius est, piusque escat. Nostra sentiabulat fit. Ratio fix tantum est. Lawlessness umkere wrong feet.
Also, real quick, when I was saying this, you know what? Actually, never mind. Now I just thought about it right now because I'm like, she's using Scandinavian magic, but she's speaking in Latin. No, never mind. Yeah, I was about to say something, but I was like, nah, that actually kind of makes sense. But okay, here we go. Cast off righteousness. Lay piety to rest. We beasts are meant to consume each other. Life is but a decoration. Throw away your intellect. Pain powers the mind. Aoko pulled herself back. It was her turn. What? It was only an instant. Well, that's pretty sick. Screenshot that one real quick. Bam, bam. Okay. It was only an instant. Within this labyrinth of mirrors, she saw an image of herself. Ooh.
Te salvatio.
We die. Oh, is this where she gets her red hair? Oh, never mind. That shit exploded. Yo, that shit just done it self-exploded, brother. Self-exploded? Self-destructed. That's what I meant to say. A blinding, brilliant light flashed. Lacerations appeared across the wall. At the last moment, Aoko managed to thicken the magical energy running through her veins into a primitive form of magecraft resistance. It just barely saved her life from what must have been the puppet's ace in the hole. Why you? The puppet bore a striking resemblance to Aoko. This powerful curse was not satisfied with stopping Aoko's heart, but destroying her entire being. Aoko did not have time to be shocked. This was her chance for a counterattack. The puppet's balance was unsteady, its right arm still embedded in the wall. Aoko prepared to give its defenseless body a strong kick, but her knees buckled and she collapsed into a heap on the floor.
Verbo insomni. Solitare putresque inferis. Ictius meus obitus dies. Et meus natibus dies. TYPEMOON.
In slumber, I live. In dirt, I rot alone. Today is the day I died and was born. I come to you. A sudden nausea and lightheadedness overcame Aoko. Her body temperature began to rapidly lower.
こいつ呪いをばらまいてるんだった。
This whole time. It was spreading its curses the whole time. She noticed, too late. The puppet's curse circled the hall. The cursed chant that the puppet used as a source of power doubled as a defense mechanism, crippling those who drew near with illness. She bore the full brunt the entire time she was in close proximity to it. Although Aoko had magic circuits, I don't know what the fuck I just said. Although Aoko had magic circuits, she was succumbing just as Sojiro had. Languidly, she forced her deteriorating body to jump back.
負けるか。
I'm not done yet! With all the energy she could muster, she forced her way past the exhaustion caused by the curse. However, Aoko's blood pressure took a steep nosedive, not from the curse-induced anemia, but from what appeared in front of her. They stood in perfect harmony. In front of Aoko was the automata that shared her face, its left arm held out like an arrow. The deadly weapon shot forward, honed in on her heart. Then, a moment before it made contact,
危ない。
watch out. The moment she heard that fearless voice, completely out of place in the storm of violence, Aoko's body was pulled forcefully to one side. Once again, the extending arm cut through empty air, while Puppet quickly retracted its left arm. I think it was supposed to be a while of a puppet. Okay. Sojiro took the brief opportunity to take Aoko by the hand and flee at full speed. Damn. She almost got fucked. In a way, it's kind of like a nice little karma, circle of karma there. How she was chasing Sojiro to kill him, and now this fucking puppet is there to try and kill her, right? Sojiro ran through the corridor as fast as he could, only stopping when he had put enough distance between them and the puppet.
その、考えてみると、
I was thinking, and though he had saved her, she looked angrily rather than gratefully. This did not keep Sojiro from saying his piece.
明日はどうも忙しいみたいなんだ。
Tomorrow's going to be a really busy day for me, so in other words, let's finish this today. A rather awkward proposal. I understand it's a visual novel, but you could at least put like some battle damage on her. Like, come on now. Like, she just took a fucking explosion to the face, and she's just standing there, fucking yeah. She like not a scratch on her. Okay, could have done a little bit more into that little department, artwork department there. She said nothing. Aoko remained silent. She was also rather angry. Not that she could not figure out what made him tick, nor because he'd returned after escaping. Not even because he was spouting his typically airheaded lines. It was, she supposed, that instant, the fact that when he grabbed her hand, her mind had gone completely blank. Aoko found it unforgivable. Which beckoned the response.
あなた、正気？
Are you insane? In the heat of the moment, she blurted it out before she could stop herself.
それとも自殺願望でもあったわけ？私もあいつも、あんたなんか殺す対象に過ぎないのよ。
Or maybe you got a death wish. Don't you realize that either of us could easily kill you with a snap of a finger?
少なくとも、恩を売る相手じゃない。
At the very least, I don't owe you a damn thing.
言っとくけど、私、助けられたぐらいで曲がる信念は持ち合わせていないから。
Saving my life doesn't change a thing between us. Sojiro nodded, completely unperturbed.
青崎がそんな可愛らしいもんじゃないのは、この夜だけで骨身に染みてるよ。
Don't worry, Aozaki. If tonight taught me anything, it's that you're more ruthless than that. She found herself slightly offended.
けど君は勘違いをしてるから、少し正そう。
But I think you need to get one thing straight.
あいつの狙いは青崎だけじゃない。君だけじゃなく、俺も殺す気だと思う。
That thing isn't trying to kill you. I think it's trying to kill me as well. She was having none of it. Her eyes shot daggers his way.
話は最後まで聞く。どうしてかっていうと、1階の入り口あるだろ？あの細長い通路。
And before you chew me out, you need to know something. Do you remember the first floor entrance at the end of that long corridor?
なんでかあそこから先に進めないんだ。逃げたくても逃げ出せなくて、仕方なく戻ってきた。
Well, it's blocked. I tried my best to find a way out, but no luck. There was no choice but to come right back. Aoko's eyes widened ever so slightly in amazement. Not out of shock, but rather admiration that her enemy would go to such lengths.
それに、さっきので完全に敵扱いされた。あの人形、こっちをじろっと睨んできたし。
And besides, it was hostile to me too earlier. I could tell by how it was glaring at me. Well, if it represents Aoko, my friend, it probably was glaring at you. Right? Yeah.
いや、一瞬でよく見えなかったけど、生きた心地しなかったな。
His face.
青崎も気をつけた方がいい。多分よっぽど怖い顔をしてい
Not
るに
knowing
違
that
い
it
ない
looks
ぞ。
like her. That makes that funny. Well, happened so fast I didn't really get a good look at it. But it was really unsettling. You should be careful. That thing, she sure has a terrifying face.
それはご親切にどうも。
Yeah, gee, thanks, asshole.
なんでこれはもう他人事じゃないんだ。
You bet. I mean, I can't pretend like this isn't happening to me.
青崎と人形。結論として、どっちが勝っても俺は殺されてしまうんじゃないか？
Whichever you wins, I'm a dead man either way, right?
そうね。そこまでやってるなら、目撃者は消すでしょうね。私みたいに。
I can't argue with that. If it's willing to go as far as to seal off the entrance, then it'd probably kill any witnesses as well. At least, that's what I'd do.
だろ？でも、俺はあいつには殺されたくない。
Right. And I don't want her to be the one who kills me. That's like strangely adorable. She's like, wait, what? His words were decisive. As Aoka looked up at him, she could swear he was trying to encourage her. It was then that she realized Sojiro was looking even worse than before.
ちょっと待って。大丈夫なの？あなた。
Hey, you're okay? Nah, not really, but I'm doing fine.
まあ、醤油を一升瓶飲むよりはマシではないかと。
Well, I'm better than if I drunk an entire bottle of soy sauce. Goddamn, your blood pressure would fucking spike. He tried to make light of the situation, but his forehead was clearly drenched in sweat.
そうか。さっき人形に近づいたから。
Right. It's because he was close to the puppet just now. How could he possibly be able to withstand a curse that made even Aoko nauseous? Tattoos on his neck, baby. She bit her lip, annoyed at herself for not noticing this earlier. Sojiro was such an airhead that she hadn't even paused to consider his plight.
下で隠れていようとか思わなかったの？その方がどう考えても安全でしょ？
Why didn't you consider Why didn't you consider trying to hide down in the basement? That would have been the safest bet, wouldn't it? She really could not understand him at all.
それは青崎が言うセリフじゃないな。
You should really take your own advice sometimes, Aozaki.
でもまあ、長話をしている時間もない。そろそろ追いついてくる頃だ。
But hey, this is no time to be chatting. She could catch up at any moment. He turned to look down the corridor. The crackling sounds of a music box could be heard creeping forth from the darkness.
さっき1階にいて考えたんだ。君がやられても俺は殺される。なら、まず奴をどうにかするべきだ。
I was thinking about this while I was on the first floor earlier. If it kills you, I'm next. That's why we should deal with it first. She's like, this guy is fucking wild.
あなた、何が言いたいの？
What are you getting at? She asked a question to which she already knew the answer. She did put it to him to the test. She did it to put him to the test. If he wavered even a little, she would have killed him where he stood.
提案。あいつをやっつけるのに協力したら、俺のことは見逃してくれる？
My proposal is that if I agree to help you kill that thing, will you let me go?
助けられたぐらいじゃ信念は曲げないって言ったでしょ？
I thought I made it clear that helping me wasn't going to change my mind.
それに、あなたに何ができるっていうの？
And besides, what do you think you're going to do with it? What? What do you think you're going to do? What do you think you're going to do to it? Anyway, okay, sorry. I can't read for some reason.
それは青崎が考えてくれ。得意だろ、そういうの。
No, that's your end of the bargain, Aozaki. This is your area of expertise, right? Her face. The commander, who had the overall picture, was responsible for delegating roles to their teammates. It was futile to depend on someone who was unable to grasp the situation or evaluate the enemy's strength. Sojiro was proud to share that he knew this. He spoke the truth. Aoko was the only one who knew both Sojiro and the automata. That was why he pointed out that that following her orders to the best of his ability was the only thing he could do. It may have seemed as though Sojiro had surrounded his capacity for self-thought, but in fact, in accepting that he was helpless, he was in fact giving Aoko his complete trust.
じゃあ、私の指示に 100% 従うってこと？
Fine then. So you'll do exactly what I tell you to do.
ああ。それに、これは恩とか義理の話じゃない。
I will. And just so you know, I'm not doing this out of the sense of obligation or anything.
一人だと分が悪いから二人でかかるだけだ。善意でも好意でもない。取引って言わないか、こういうの。
It's just obvious that neither of us had a chance on our own. This isn't goodwill or kindness. It's a transaction. His eyes sparkled, as if this was bartering with the true in its truest form.
まったく
My god. This child must have learned that from Tobimaru, Aoko thought. Though she refused to let him see it, underneath she cracked a smile. Sure, he had gotten the best of her just now, but there were times when defeat was not the worst outcome in the world.
労働と報酬ってわけね。それなら理にかなってる。
Honest pay for honest work? Makes sense.
うん。言いたくないけど。
And I hate to admit it, but she relaxed her shoulders and sighed. Her face cracked into a wicked smile, as if her fears had suddenly washed away.
それ、結構私の好みよ。
Your plan is just my style. Aoko repaid Sojiro's trust in equal measure.
結構きついかもね。あなたの役目。
Just so you know, this is going to be pretty tough for you. Aoko warned Sojiro, moving as fast as she could without her footfalls causing a din of noise. Sojiro remained near the center of the spiral maze on the second floor.
実を言うと、もう一つ用意しておいた仕掛けがあるの。
I'll let you in on a secret. I have another trap up my
自
sleeve.
分でもやりすぎだって呆れたもんだけど、あなたがここに来るのが遅かったから。ちょっと強に乗っちゃって。
I think that I might have gone overboard with this one. But when you didn't show up on time, I just couldn't help myself.
ん？仕掛けって俺用の？
A trap? For me? Sojiro tilted his head like a squirrel as Aoko freely discussed the final ace up her sleeve.
地下の柱に着火型のちょっとした魔術式を刻んでおいたの。中心の柱に点火することで連鎖的に他の柱に仕掛けた魔術も起動する。
I engraved an ignition formula into the support pillars in the basement. If I ignite the center pillar, it will start a chain reaction that will ignite the rest.
ジャミングを食らう前に作ったものだから直接魔力を叩き込めば一気にこういくわ。
I made it before that thing started jamming me. If I infuse it with a bit of magical energy, it'll go boom. Wait, what? So did she put that before Sojiro? That would make sense, right? Because if he ran up the first floor... No, wait, what? To the second floor... Where you can see the spot... I'm confused. Wait, so were they on the first floor the entire time, or am I just dumb? Sojiro was a little unsettled by how unclear that last bit was.
青崎、こうじゃわからない。できるだけ明確にどこまで爆破する気だったのか白状してくれ。
Aozaki, could you, clarify? I want to know how much you were going to blow me up. Please be honest.
あと、もしかして俺、早まったか？
Also, did I make a mistake agreeing to team up with you?
いや、その単なる保険っていうか。
Don't be silly. It's just an, insurance policy. Yeah.
追いかけっこの途中であんたを見失ったら、いっそ建物ごと爆破しちゃおうかなって。
Just thought that if I lost sight of you at any point, I could blow up the whole building and you with it. It was her policy to be thorough to the end. After all, she laughed in embarrassment, saying it was loud though. I mean, wouldn't that be a bit suspicious though? That abandoned fucking amusement park that has probably no electricity just randomly exploded.
いくらなんでも徹底しすぎてる。
I mean, granted, yeah, she's using magic, so it leaves like no trace, but I feel like that'd be a bit suspicious, right? Don't you think that's overkill? Faced with Aoko's cruelty, Sojiro forgot about the situation at hand and protested from the bottom of his heart.
何よ、いいじゃない。そのおかげでなんとかなりそうなんだから。
Stop complaining. At least now we have a way to fight back. She shot back. Aoko dashed down the corridor, mumbling things that would probably have sent Sojiro packing if he heard them. The strategy was simple. Aoko would use the escape route to the right and avoid the puppet while making her way down to the basement. Upon reaching the central pillar, she would infuse the formula she had prepared with magical energy and escape. Once ignited, it would take about a minute for the chain reaction to spread throughout the whole house of mirrors, and another minute for the building to collapse. So they have like 2-3 minutes to do that. She would be cutting it a little close, but because she had committed the maze, she committed the maze to memory, she was sure she could make it out in time. Aoko assumed that the chain reaction caused by the pillar would clear the barrier that the puppet had placed at the entrance. Oof, that'd be funny if it wasn't. And even if it was strong enough to withstand the blast, it would not be able to stay standing once the foundations buckled. Sojiro's escape was assured as long as the formula in the basement was activated. Next came the most important part. The automaton was at a disadvantage in the obstacle-laden house of mirrors and was unable to move at full speed. If it was near the center of the building's second floor, when the building collapsed, it would be caught up and crushed by it. So the problem was keeping the puppet on the second floor until Aoko could make it down to the basement.
当てにしたからね、Shizuki-kun。せめて3分ぐらいは引きつけて。
I'm counting on you, Suzuki. Just need to keep it occupied for 3 minutes. Ideally, he'd be able to keep it busy until she could activate the formula. If that failed to work, him learning it down the first floor would be the next best thing. She understood perfectly well that the danger she was putting Sojiro in, but his lucky streak and running speed were nothing to scoff at.
ただ逃げるだけなら、もしかして、とんでもないことをしてくれるかも、あいつ。
As long as he has to do his run, then maybe, just maybe, he could actually pull this off. Aoko made her way through the hidden passage of the maze, her hopes pinned on Sojiro. He's like, all right, well, meanwhile, well out of earshot, Sojiro was readying himself for another desperate chase. He calmed his beating heart using a method of his own making. What mattered most was that he remained calm. The plan was simple enough. And Aoko's orders were succinct and easy to understand.
10メートルぐらいの距離を保って、できるだけゆっくり通路を3、4周すること。
Keep a distance of around 30 feet and weave through the corridors as slowly as you can, 3 or 4 times.
横道は鏡のつなぎ目で覚えて。ここなら左回りで、6、3、7、2枚目にあるから、そこをぐるぐる回ってれば比較的安全よ。
Count the mirrors as you move to locate the hidden passages. From here, they're on the 6th, 3rd, 7th, and 2nd mirrors, counterclockwise. Use those, and you should be relatively safe. It was essentially a looping marathon. As long as Sojiro maintained a distance of the puppet's extended arm, and just enough that she could continue to track him, she should continue chasing him indefinitely. Oh, this plan's probably not going to work. Simple though the task was, Sojiro was putting his life on the line as bait. And then there was the final order, to run as fast as he could to the exit when the building began to sway.
結構じゃなくて、かなりきついんじゃないかな、これは。
This is more than just a little tough. Yo, how long have they been in this fucking building? Like, that'd be funny if, like, in retrospect, it was, like, all, like, an hour. Like, you would think it'd be, like, an all-night thing. No, it's, like, it's, like, an hour-long chase. He nervously struck his head out from around the corner. He could hear the sound of the music box from the other side of the corridor. First, he had to make eye contact with it, then head through the shortcut on the right, and begin their game of tag. He spotted it and braced himself. Closer, closer. Fearing that her arm could fly at him at any moment, He went over Aoko's instructions in his head.
あれ
Wait. However, he cannot quite remember which pain led. Oh God. Yep. Which led to the first hidden passage. The third, the sixth, the ninth. His fucking face. No. He was sure that was mistaken. He was confident that he had memorized moments ago, but his nerves had gone the best of him, and his head was now spinning. Then, Sojiro realized that the sound of his pursuer was beginning to grow distant, at an incredible speed. What the fuck? Oh, she became a fucking spider lady, bro?
何
Oh, I would shit my pants. That's a face of his pants are brown now. What's it doing now? The unusual silhouette of the puppet astonished him. Before it had taken the form of a beautiful girl. But now it made a bizarre transformation, and returned to the first floor to pursue her primary target.
いや、それは。
And comically, well, this wasn't in the plans. Sojiro was no longer sure what to do. With not even the time to mourn his failure, the puppet had vanished out of sight. I'll be of help. Just let me go. Or so he had said, but now he cannot follow through.
さて
would-
自分はこれからどうしよ
I would just start running towards that thing, bro. So I can jump on her back, start wrangling her like a fucking bull. So, what am I supposed to do now? Alone, he tilted his head in frustration. He spoke into the darkness, as if Aoko would be there to answer him. Well, I don't know if you just heard my dad there, but... That very moment, having arrived on the first floor, Aoko quickly understood what had transpired above her. She did not even have to strain her ears to hear the puppet. Even during its heyday, this attraction had never made sounds like the one she heard coming toward her now. It was the sound of despair, as if a horde of monstrous hedgehogs were scraping their way past the mirrors in her direction. Hedgehogs? I could think of the least scariest fucking animal to choose, bro. Hedgehogs? Come on now.
あのドジ、3分どころか10秒持たないってどういうことよ。
Tits? 3 minutes? He couldn't even last 10 seconds. Damn, bro. Come on now. He tried. Rather than buying her time, Sojiro had, in fact, stolen hers. She dreamed of cursing him for failing to fulfill his one job.
複数の足音。ってことは、二足から多脚に切り替えたのね。
Multiple simultaneous footsteps. So it switched from bipedal to its multi-leg form. The echoes made a sound like the footsteps of a dozen. What the fuck? The echoes made a sound like the footsteps of dozens of feet. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's grammatically correct, but that's weird just to read. To Aoko, it sounded like a giant six-legged spider tearing its way down the corridor. It was little wonder that it was so much faster than before. Its perception of its surroundings through echolocation was of peculiar use in the dark. Compared to sight-dependent humans, this automaton was far better equipped to navigate its way through the labyrinth of mirrors. If it could not keep pace earlier, it was because its bipedal mode of movement was not up to the task, and now it is. But the stability provided by multiple legs gave it speed that far exceeded that of any human.
どうするどうするどうする
What now? What now? Her thoughts spun out as she tried to come up with a plan B. All she knew for sure was that this was a pivotal moment. If she continued standing still, she had seconds left at most. Even in her current state, she could easily neutralize the bounded field blocking the entrance without casting a spell. All she had to do was pour a little of her own magic into it. Aoko could sprint with all her might for a little more than 3 minutes. The puppet had far more stamina than she did. She could only come up with 3 options. The first was to escape through the exit in front of her. The second was to hide herself somewhere within the far more complicated first floor. And the third was to run into the basement and be stuck like a rat in a trap.
なんだ。考えるまでもない。
Well, that's obvious enough. She made her decision with zero hesitation, moving her stiff legs again with determined strength. The oncoming storm was almost upon her. Her resolve firm, she turned and ran, descending into the darkness. Just going down the basement, being like, alright, we'll see how this works. No matter what, a finale should be glorious. This would be the Mirror Castle's final scene. 2 humans and a puppet. A young sorceress ran toward the subterranean heart of the castle, while an autonomous antique chased its prey into the depths of a demonic dungeon. You know, there's one guy up there looking like a dumbass. A minute later, a faint blue charge would ripple through the castle. This was the main pillar in the deepest depths of the basement. The pillar itself was not there to support the castle structure, but it would serve nicely as the symbol into which the girl thrust her fist with all her magical energy. This was the blow that would bring the castle down. Or bring down the castle. I read that in a completely wrong fucking way. She imagined the scene as she threw the punch, a scene that would soon become reality. It was simple ignition magecraft, meant to release the condensed magical energy engraved into the 4 pillars that formed the foundation of the structure. Using electricity as a switch meant virtually instantaneous activation. Oh. Buddy, I feel like you should start running. Swift and elegant. A hammer of destruction descended upon the Castle of Dreams that had stubbornly resisted its fate for 2 years. Uh-oh. Looks like they're burning down the house. It was almost a joyous sound. And so, the lifeless and abandoned Castle of Mirrors set the stage for its final and most spectacular performance. Aoko's magical energy became an electrical charge that activated the magecraft formula engraved into the pillar. The chain reaction would lead to the castle's destruction.
ご苦労様。
You served your purpose.
でも、思ってたよりくたびれてたのね。
But it must
これ
have
じゃ
been
1
rough.
分持つかどうか。
Looks like you're going to collapse any time now. The plaza, in the center of the basement, Aoko tried to steady her breathing while rotating her magical crest at full speed. She wreathed her arms in blue light, fully aware that she could no longer activate another formula. Meanwhile, her labored breathing refused to settle. She stood at the center of the basement. Without being spotted even once, she had managed to make it all the way to the central pillar. It was a 100-meter dash in 13 seconds flat, undoubtedly a new personal best. She spurred on her weakened heart, knowing full well the fate of that awaited her.
入れば追ってくる。地下に行けば逃げられない。
It can't help but follow me. And once down here, there'll be no escape.
当然よね。最後まで逃げ回ろうなんて、虫のいい話だった。
I should have expected that. It was too much to expect that I could keep up the chase forever. Hindsight was 20/20. Something I don't have because my eyes are shit. I wear glasses, baby. The castle was only a minute away from collapsing completely. If they stayed here, they'd both be crushed by the rubble. The puppet certainly did not care. With no life of its own, its sole concern was the elimination of its target, Aoko Aozaki. Indeed. The enemy had been willing to die from the start. She resented her own lack of resolve. It wasn't like her to tuck tail and run from an opponent that didn't fear death.
Vivo insomni, solitare putresco inferis. Fictive.
Yeah, you said that already.
そもそも自爆覚悟じゃない、あれ。
It's always been on a suicide mission, huh?
六足歩行とフィンの一撃は使いすぎよ。もう呪詛による魔力補給じゃ間に合わない。
It doesn't have enough juice to power the six-legged form and the fin shots. The curses aren't recharging it fast enough. Such a perpetual motion device was only as good as its ability to regulate its energy consumption. Using so many functions at once meant it was blurring through fuel quickly, and losing the ability to process the curses that powered it. It was using up all of the functions it had been given to achieve its aim. This was the pride of a tool. If such things could have ego, those endowed with sentience could never hope to understand. A beast born to do nothing but run would burn any human who faced its resolve.
ほんと、もったいない。
It's a waste when you think about it.
こういう無茶をするのは姉貴だけかと思ってたけど、いるところにはいるもんね。
I thought my sister was the only one capable of something this reckless, but I guess I was wrong. But Aoko did not intend a sacrifice play here. She respected her adversary now, and she was done regretting her choices. There was no time to waste.
行くわよ。ここできっかり。
This is it. This ends now. Aoko had every intention of paying back double for what it had done to her. The energy Aoko had accumulated exploded from her right leg. She aimed for a single thing, a head-on attack. The enemy's response was a curse to crush her heart. A curse that would rend Aoko's heart and destroy itself in the process. As soon as she saw it, Aoko kicked the floor as hard as she could. Her long hair swirled through the air as she flipped aside. This lateral move almost sent her tumbling into the ground, but a quick swing of her arm allowed her to regain her balance. A shot grazed her arm. With the curse scorching her left shoulder, she did not flinch. Aoko knew she could hold on as long as she continued to avoid a direct fin shot.
Snap!
Snap. Crackle and pop. Off balance and in pain, it took her half a second to recover. The moment she raised her head, she deflected the attack with a fist full of magical energy.
せーの!
Here it goes. If the puppet had a will of its own, its eyes would have popped right out of its sockets. It would have been floored. Sorry, let me laugh. Shocked at this strong will that allowed this girl to perform series of moves like this.
Crack!
Crack. Oh, is she gonna say pop? That'd be funny. Aoko's response was instantaneous. While her power was not sufficient to completely redirect the arm's trajectory, it was just enough to deflect it harmlessly past her hair.
Initio eraberamos ton bebimus dolores sunt. Nemo adiuvat, nemo adiuvat, nemo
She's like, you
adiuvat.
really thought? It was all a mistake. I should have never been born. Atone for me. Atone for me. Atone for me. The chant became a curse that robbed Aoko of her vitality. Did it still have something left in the tank? Or was it actually indignant? Whatever the reason, Aoko was easily able to resist its weakened defensive maneuver. Glider. And her right leg, pulsing with magical energy, shot up the puppet's chest from below. It was much lighter than Aoko anticipated. Or rather, she felt little resistance. An automaton's weight was determined by its internals, the size of its power source. Ironically, it was the superiority of its music box engine that would prove to be its downfall. Alright, I feel like you should start running.
Venite, venite, meum sepulchrum venite.
Welcome, 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 my grave. A stuttering curse. Having taken the full brunt of Aoko's kick, the puppet bounced from the ceiling floor, collapsing in a heap. Its internal construction had been warped by the impact, leaving the drum of the music box that powered the puppet warped as well.
恨むなら設計者を恨みなさい。
Take your design flaws up with your maker.
ダイナモの一つでも積んでいれば、もうちょっとは重たくなったでしょうに。
A single dynamo should have been all you needed to. Wait, what the? Part of the ceiling came crashing down in front of Aoko, snapping her back to her senses.
ところで今、どうやってぶっ倒したんだろう。
Did it really just take her out? I wouldn't be fucking thinking, just run. She was so stunned by her own victory that she forgot the house of mirrors had already begun to collapse.
こっちのがやばかった。
I've got to get out of here. Grabs her leg. She's like, nah. There was no time to relish in her victory or pity her opponent. Not unless she wanted to meet the same fate. As the situation stood, she found it hard to imagine getting out alive.
急げ、ダッシュだ私。
Get a move on. She slapped herself on the cheek and took off. This was her bounty for finishing the battle in a matter of seconds. With her breathing labored by all the excitement, she ran for the exit. The collapse was intensifying by the second. Having lost its support pillars, the castle was buckling under its own weight.
この邪魔。
Out of my way! Escaping from the basement was proving to be no easy task. While she was taking the shortest route possible through the maze, she was nearly crushed by a falling piece of the ceiling along the way. It was the second time, no third, she had to deal with the fallen rubble along the way. She destroyed the debris on the stairs with magic bullets as she ran. The automaton's jamming had long since worn off. The earlier attacks had damaged the vast majority of its function. Her breathing was heavy as she ran. The intensity surrounding her sparked her brain into overdrive. The ceiling seemed to be collapsing in slow motion. For her, a second felt like 5. Her frayed nerves made it hard to read time correctly. As her life seemed to flash before her eyes, a light at the end of the tunnel. Uh-oh. Oh, nah, she's like, nah, little lady. She's like, nah, little lady, I got one more ace up the sleeve. You got, fuck, I was trying to say, you're not the only one with tricks up their sleeves. There was debris riddled throughout the staircase, forcing her to crawl up it. She emerged from the destroyed basement into collapsing the first floor. That the plaza was still traversable at all was a miracle in itself, and fortunately for her, the crucial path to its exit was still intact.
よし、ついてる。
I made it! The corridor to the entrance was still intact. The basement maze only extended as far as the plaza, so the entrance corridor wouldn't collapse. Only the ceiling would cave in, leaving the scaffolding surround intact. She's gonna fucking say something next time her foot gets grabbed by the fucking puppet. She got herself this far by telling herself repeatedly that fate would decide whether or not she'd reach the plaza. Her gamble paid off. It was her lucky day. All she had to do now was muster the last of her strength and keep moving forward until... Ooh. I think that's a good place to... Well, it's saving right there. But I think that's a good place to end off. So, let's do a quick little recap of what happened. Fucking Aoko's like, look, Sojiro, I got a plan. And it involves me blowing up this place. So So she finally took out the spider lady, or so we think. Looks like the spider lady has one more plan up her sleeve. So we'll see what happens next time. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. And if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. My name has been White Album, signing out.